say 10. Can you see how it may be a little hard to get off the financial hamster wheel doing this? All right, let's move on. Now, this is going to be the exciting part. What I'm going to show you now is how to get all the money back for all the cars you're ever going to buy, drive, and own for the rest of your life. So what that means is not only do you get the car, but now you have a system to get the money back. Would that be pretty cool? Would that be pretty cool if I could show you how to get all the money back for all the cars you're going to buy, drive, and own for you and your family for the rest of your life? Because let's just think about it. All right? I don't care where you're at in life. You could be age 20, 40, 60, 80, whatever, wherever you're at in life on the age scale. How much of the money have you ever gotten back for all of the cars you've ever bought, driven, and owned up to this point? Zero, right? Is there anybody on that would say any more than zero? No. So if I do nothing else but show you how to get some or all of the money back for all the rest of the cars you're going to buy, drive, and own for your family, it's been a pretty good day, hasn't it? You're glad that you're on this call. All right, let's move right into it. Now, this is the machine. Remember, the machine we're going to use to build our wealth is a whole life insurance policy and a mutual company that pays dividends. So you're going to have premium deposits. See that right here? Premium deposits, okay? You're also, age doesn't matter. Can you see where I have age is grayed out and death benefit is grayed out? We're not going to talk about age and death benefit. And again, age and death benefit are grayed out. Now, but I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, Brent, I got to know about age and death benefit. I got some analyticals on the call that probably need to know about that. So let's talk about it quickly. Okay? Let's make believe we have 3 people. They're all different ages. You pick the ages, 20, 40, 60, 30, 50, 70. They're all in equal health, and they're all going to go into the same life insurance store today at the same time, and they're going to buy a policy, and they're just going to say, again, all this is an example. They're going to put in $10,000 into this life policy. I'm never going to tell you how much to put in. You put in however much you want. This is just an example of somebody that's going to put in $10,000. Okay? Now again, okay, so these 3 people are all in equal health, and the only thing different about is their age. So who's going to have the most death benefit of those 3 people? The youngest one, right? Who's going to have the least? The oldest one. Yes, that just makes sense. But that's not why we're meeting today. We're not meeting here to talk about death benefit. We're meeting here to talk about the cash that's available in your policy. We're talking about the cash. So since we're talking about the cash, let's take that same example. Let's say we've got 3 people. You pick their ages, 20, 40, 60, 30, 50, 70. They're all in equal health. They each have a $20 bill in their pocket. They walk into the same grocery store at the same time. Who is going to be able to buy the most groceries with their $20? You're right, all the same, right? The same $20 buys the same amount of groceries for all 3 of those people. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter the color of your skin, doesn't matter the language you speak, it doesn't matter if you're fat or skinny, it doesn't matter how well you're dressed, how good you look, the same $20 buys the same amount of groceries. So does it matter about age when we're talking about cash in this concept I'm sharing with you? No, it doesn't. But the reason I want to drive it home is because somebody's going to call me, and guess what you're going to say? You're going to say, Brent, this all looks really good, but I'm too old to do it. No, you're not too old to do it. You're just going to have a lower death benefit. The cash is not going to be affected. Okay, so let's move on. Let me get a quick drink of water. Okay, now on the screen, you see several numbers, and I'm going to make this easy. On the left is just time, year 1 to 8, 9 to 13, and so on. Then you have age and death benefit, which I told you, we already explained, we're not going to be concerned about age and death benefit. They're grayed out. And then we have an individual that's going to put in $10,000 a year into his policy, into his whole life insurance policy, and pay it for 7 years. All right. Now, remember, I don't care how much you put in. And so the policy doesn't have to be paid annually. You can pay it monthly, quarterly, twice a year, annually, and you can change the mode of how you pay it. So you decide the amount that you put in, okay? We're just using this as an example. So in this example, here's what he did. Let's look and see what he did through the first 8 years. He put in $10,000 a year, 1 to 7. And if you notice here in the 4th year, he bought a $25,000 car. He took money from the policy and bought a $25,000 car. Now, in real life, I would never, ever have you wait 4 years to start taking the cash value out of the policy. I want you to start using that cash immediately. You see this 5831 number up here on the first line of cash value available? I want you to start using that cash immediately. And my definition of immediately is within the first month, the first 30 days. All right? Now, I would also never in real life have you stop paying the premium after 7 years. All right? But in this example, I did. So just know this. You have to trust me on this for right now. The longer you put premium into your policy and the earlier you start using the cash, the bigger these numbers are going to be. Okay? So here's what he did. All right. So the thing he did is he went and he bought a car for $25,000 in the 4th year. And he's now going to play honest banker with himself and pay himself back. So what is he going to pay himself back? He's going to pay himself $500 a month or $6,000 a year for 5 years, which is a total of $30,000, right? So he's going to pay himself back with interest. Now, do you think it's a good idea that if you borrow money from yourself, you should pay yourself back with interest? Absolutely it is. You told me previously that when you borrow money from a bank, you have to pay them back with interest. So when you borrow from yourself, you should pay yourself back with interest. Treat your money the same way you treat a bank's money, because if you don't, what you're doing is you're saying your money is not as valuable as the bank's money. So you have to treat your money the same way you treat a bank's money. So in this case, we're going to pay ourselves back $500 a month, $6,000 a year for 5 years for a total of $30,000. So let's see what we did here in the first 8 years. We put in 10 times 7 is 70, paid back 6 times 5 is 30. So $100,000 is what we put in. Agree? But we took out $25,000 to buy that first car. So if we put in 100 and took out 25, if we put in 100 and took out 25, how much is our true net injection that we put in? Well, 100 minus 25 is $75,000, is it not? So $75,000 is our true net injection. Now, how much money do we have sitting in cash in our policy? That's right, $73,226. So if you take $73,226 and divide it by 75,000, you just got back 97 cents of every dollar for that first car. Now, how would you like to have 97 cents of every dollar for every car you've bought, driven, and owned up to this point in your life? That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, is there anything stupid that I am doing here to make this happen? No, not at all. I just bought a stupid life insurance policy in a mutual company that pays dividends designed for this money multiplier method, the infinite banking concept, and I'm just using it to buy the car. You're going to buy the car anyway, right? Now, let's move on because that car wears out. So now we're going to go to year 8 and we're going to buy, now we're going to go to year 9 and buy another car for $25,000. Well, where did that $25,000 come from? It came from that cash value of $73,226. So now what we did is we went out and bought the car. We're no longer going to put premium into the policy in this example. All we're going to do is play honest banker with ourselves and pay ourselves back the same way we were paying the bank back. So we borrowed 25 and put back 30. Borrow 25 and put back 30. So how much more did we put in than we took out during that 5-year time period? Well, we took out 25 and put back 30. So that means we put back $5,000 more than what we took out. Well, now how much cash do we have in our policy? We've got over $95,000. So our policy grew from 73 to 95. That is a $22,000 growth with a $5,000 net injection. How do you like buying cars my way now? And it just keeps getting better. Every single car, these numbers just keep getting bigger. Now, watch this. Look at this. I want you to look at year 1 to 13, and I want you to see, what did we do in the first 13 years? Well, we put in 10 times 7 is 70 for 70. We paid back on the first car, 6 times 5 is 30. So in the first 8 years, we put in 100 grand. And then in year 9 through 13, we put in 6 times 5 is 30, so another 30. So we put in $130,000 in 13 years. But we took out for 2 cars, one in year 4 and one in year 9. So if we put in 130 and took out 50, if we put in 130 and took out 50, how much is our true net injection? 130 minus 50 is what? Yes, it's $80,000. How much cash do you have in year 13? It's okay. Go ahead and say it. You have $95,000 plus. What is our true net injection? $80,000. So let me ask you this. If your true net injection is 80 and you've got 95,000 now in your account, not only do you have the 95,000 in your account, guess what else you have? You have 2 cars sitting on the driveway. You have 2 cars. You have a 5-year-old car and a 10-year-old car that is sitting on the driveway. Do you not? So if this is true, our net injection is 80 and we have 95 plus the 2 cars. How much did the 2 cars cost you to buy, drive, own, and use? The answer is you made money, didn't you? You made money. Now, look, I can't sit here and tell you that you made money and the cars didn't cost you anything because you had to start this concept. Did you not? You had to start this program. Go back and look at year number 1 when you put in 10 grand. How much could you use? You could only use 5,800, but you had to start, right? In other words, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to swim, you got to get in the pool. You can't learn to swim by sitting in the grandstands looking at the pool, can you? So you had to start the program. But let me ask you this. Are you in this for the short term or the long term? And you all answer long term, but guess what? You get hung up in short term thinking. Have you ever read the book called A Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren? In that book, Rick Warren says life is like a marathon. It doesn't matter where you start. It only matters how you finish. This is the game of life. So did I just prove to you how you're going to get all the money back for all the cars you're going to buy, drive, and own for the rest of your life? So not only do you get the car, but you get the money back. And is there anything ridiculous, stupid, or idiotic that I did? No, man. I bought a stupid whole life insurance policy in a mutual company that pays dividends designed for this concept, and I'm just using it to buy my cars. Now, the reason I show you this as an example of buying cars is because most of the audience that I talk to, I bet you guys understand cars because I bet you've all have either driven a car, ridden in a car, or owned a car, right? But let's say this wasn't a $25,000 car. Let's say if it was a $50,000 car, and instead of you paying yourself back $500 a month or $6,000 a year, you're now doubling that. You're paying yourself $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. What would happen to those numbers? That's right, they would increase. What if mama and daddy had a $50,000 car? What would happen to the numbers? They would even be bigger. Well, okay, let's say this wasn't a car. What if it was a boat? Could you do this for a boat? Could you do it for a bicycle? Could you do it, so could you buy an iPhone and do this? Yes, an airline ticket. A house? Absolutely. What about your taxes? Ooh, could you get all the money back for all the taxes that you're going to pay, your state, federal, local taxes? Yeah, listen up, California. You can get all your money back for your taxes, right? People are leaving your state because they're tired of paying the taxes, are they not? What about charitable giving? Could you get all the money back for the money that you give to charity? A couple of you are thinking, Brent, that's just not right. God does not want me to get my charitable giving money back. Well, let me tell you this. If God did not want you to get your charitable money giving back, he would not have you on this call and me telling you how to get it back. You're here for a reason. Do you know any poor people adding wings on any churches? Do you know of any? Neither do I. It doesn't matter what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are now turning every liability into an asset. We are turning every depreciating asset into an appreciating asset. Have you ever heard of a guy named Robert Kiyosaki? Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote a book called Second Chance. This is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki talks about in that book. But you never saw it when you read it, did you? It's never been explained to you like this, has it? What about Tony Robbins, the book called Money Master the Game? Chapter 5.2 of that book is exactly what Tony Robbins is talking about. Look, ladies and gentlemen, this concept has been around for over 200 years. I didn't create it. Nelson Nash didn't create it. It's been around for over 200 years. It's not on trial. It's not something we're going to test out and see how it works. Our tax code has only been here since 1913. There is so much that you can do inside of this vehicle with its features and benefits that you cannot do with any other vehicle on the planet. And if there's something better than this, let me know what it is, because I've been looking for the last 14 years and haven't found it. All right, now let's move on. Oh, there's 3 rules. 3 rules. Rule number 1, policy premium deposit. What does that mean? Pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. Now, you've all heard pay yourself first, have you not? Yes, but do you ever do it? No, you never do it. Here's what you guys do whenever you get money in. You take that money, you put it into the conventional bank of the town you live in, and guess what you do? You pay everybody else first. You pay the car people, the house people, the student loan people. You pay the Girl Scouts, the piano lessons, the soccer practice. You buy the groceries. You pay for the dog food. You pay everybody else first, and you hope there's money left over for you. You've got to change that. You have to start paying yourself first. Rule number 2, pay yourself with interest. When you borrow money from a bank, you pay them back with interest, don't you? You never bat an eye or ask questions about it. You make those payments. Treat your money the same way you treat a bank's money. If you don't, you're saying your money's not as valuable as the bank's money. And rule number 3, recycle and recapture all of the money. All of the money that goes out, you need to recycle and recapture it, just like we've been explaining. All right, so hopefully you guys are excited. It is life-changing, let me tell you. This is a financial, life-changing event. It is a paradigm shift. It's outside of the box, right? It's not what your friends, your colleagues, or coworkers are doing. You're probably going to end this call today when we're done, and you're going to go and tell someone like maybe your brother-in-law, and your brother-in-law is going to say, yeah, that's not right. That can't possibly be true. Well, let me tell you, do you really want to take advice, financial advice from your broke-ass brother-in-law? Probably not. So do your research on everything that I'm telling you. I'm not making this stuff up. All right. The 3 rules: pay yourself first, pay yourself with interest, recycle and recapture your money. If it works for a car, what else does it work for? Doesn't matter what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're now turning liabilities into assets, depreciating assets into appreciating assets, and now we're keeping control of our money. There's no leakage of money going out. There's the 2 resources I gave you. So I've given you 3 books. I gave you Nelson Nash, Becoming Your Own Banker. There's Second Chance, Robert Kiyosaki, and Money Master the Game. Check out chapter 5.2 now.